You might want to think twice before stepping into your favorite fast food restaurant after dark. Because the mascots you smiled at as a kid, the clowns with painted faces, the big-eyed cartoon girls, the bucket-wielding colonels, they aren't always what they seem. I know it sounds crazy, but what I'm about to tell you will make you question every happy meal you've ever eaten. If you're watching this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Nightmare Chronicles right now, because tonight, nothing is off limits, and the truth is far darker than you think. And trust me, once you hear this, you'll never want to see those mascots in the same way again. It all started with a video that went viral online. A fast food employee recorded something strange late at night in a closed Wendy's. The security cameras were off, or at least that's what the manager said, but on the employee's phone there was footage of Wendy. Not the real person, but Wendy herself, the mascot, moving. Alone, walking down the empty hallways of the restaurant. Her eyes, glassy and too wide, staring straight into the camera. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. She just stared. And then, when the camera moved closer, her grin stretched a little too far. It wasn't cute. It wasn't welcoming. It was wrong. The video ended with her disappearing into the shadows, leaving behind the smell of fried food, but no one else was there. Stories like that exist for every major fast food mascot. Take Ronald McDonald. Kids grow up seeing him as a silly clown, skipping around with oversized shoes and a red wig. But there are reports, mostly whispered online, of late-night encounters at abandoned McDonald's stores. Employees claim they've seen a figure in the clown suit pacing the empty dining area at 3 a.m., whispering things that make no sense, muttering numbers or names like a code only he knows. Sometimes, fries would fly off the counter, cups would topple, and no one would touch them. And if anyone looked too closely, Ronald would be gone, but the smell of his cheap cologne and the scent of stale hamburgers lingered in the air, thick and suffocating. KFC isn't exempt either. The Colonel Sanders statue in the lobby, the one smiling politely at you while you wait in line? People who've worked overnight shifts report seeing him blink, and not the slow, human kind of blink. A sharp, unnatural flicker like a camera flash. One employee even swore he saw the Colonel step off his pedestal and walk toward the kitchen, bucket in hand, humming an old tune no one recognized. By the time anyone ran to check, the statue was back in place, but greasy footprints led straight to the walk-in freezer, and when the manager opened it, there was nothing. No footprints, no Colonel, just the cold metal echoing of the empty freezer and the lingering smell of fried chicken. I know this sounds insane. Maybe you're thinking I'm making it up, but what's even creepier is the consistency of the reports. Across the country, employees at fast food chains report seeing mascots move when they shouldn't, appearing in places no human should be able to reach. The rest the story of a Wendy's in Ohio, where the mascot Wendy would appear in the dining area while the store was closed, standing in a corner, just staring. Customers who accidentally walked in said she vanished when they blinked, leaving behind small paper crowns, the kind you'd give to kids. But when they looked closer, the crowns had names scratched into them, names of people who had worked the night shift. Some theorists online believe these mascots are haunted by past employees or children who love them too much. Others think it's part of some corporate ritual gone wrong, some dark secret the companies hide. But whether it's supernatural or just the twisted imagination of tired night workers, one thing is certain: they move, they watch, and sometimes they follow. There was one night I couldn't shake. A friend of mine worked at a McDonald's in a small town. She texted me at 2 a.m., shaking, saying she couldn't leave the back storage room. I asked why, and she sent a picture. It was Ronald, or at least a figure wearing the costume, standing at the edge of the doorway, grinning like he knew something she didn't. She said her hands were trembling so badly she couldn't unlock the door, and then her text stopped. 3 hours later, the manager called her, saying the alarm had gone off. The security camera footage showed her alone. Alone, except for the clown in the corner, watching and then vanishing the moment anyone tried to approach. Sometimes, the encounters aren't violent. They're psychological. People report feeling followed by mascots outside the restaurant, seeing a shadow in the window that doesn't belong to any person. The figures mimic your movements, sometimes freeze when you freeze. And the worst part, they don't blink. They never blink. You could stare at Ronald's painted eyes for 5 minutes straight, and they'd never falter, never look away. And if you do look away, you might notice them closer when you turn back, a step too near, with a grin that's just slightly wider than it should be. Online forums are full of similar stories. KFC buckets moving, Wendy dolls appearing in unopened boxes, Ronald posters tearing themselves from walls at night. One Reddit thread even claimed a drive-thru speaker started talking to a customer after hours saying, "I know your name. I've been waiting," and the commenters debated whether it was someone messing with them, or something else entirely. Something alive inside the costume, something that waits. I've even talked to ex-employees who quit because they couldn't handle the nightly presence of the mascots. One told me that after midnight, all the mascots in a single location seemed to communicate. He swore he saw Ronald, Wendy, and the Colonel line up in the hallway, whispering, or maybe singing, in voices that didn't belong to any human. And when he tried to leave, he realized the doors wouldn't open. Not because of locks, but because the mascots didn't want him to. He said he crouched in the storage closet until sunrise, too scared to breathe, listening to footsteps and giggles echoing in empty corridors. When the sun finally came, the mascots were back in their display spots. Everything normal again, except he could still smell fried chicken in the air, and the faint scent of paint from the costumes. Maybe the scariest part is how easily they blend in. In daylight, they're harmless, friendly, smiling. You think it's your imagination when you feel eyes on you in the lobby, but the night changes everything. Lights off, empty restaurants, silence. That's when the mascots walk. That's when they watch, and sometimes they choose a target. One ex-employee claims to this day that Ronald followed her home, not literally walking, but she could feel his presence in her peripheral vision, hear the faint sound of rubber shoes shuffling on pavement that wasn't there. She moved across the country, but the feeling never left her. A shadow that moves like a clown, waiting, watching, patient. I know what you're thinking. It's just fast food lore and urban legend to scare kids. But then why do the employees all tell the same stories? Why do cameras catch unexplained movements? Why do drive-through systems sometimes speak when no one is there? Whether it's ghostly, demonic, or something else entirely, I've learned this. If you see a mascot alone after hours, don't approach. Don't blink, and whatever you do, don't let your guard down. So the next time you walk into a fast food joint late at night, or even if you're ordering drive-through alone, pay attention. Watch the shadows. Listen to the whispers. And remember, the happy face staring at you might be smiling for a reason you don't want to know. Nightmare Chronicles will be here to share these stories, to warn you, and to remind you that sometimes the places that seem safe are the ones that remember us most. If you've had a strange encounter with a fast food mascot, or something that didn't make sense, I want to hear about it. Comment below and share your story. And if you haven't already, hit like and share this video with someone who needs to hear this warning. Because the truth is out there, hiding behind painted smiles, waiting until the lights go out.